Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Monday, the 17th of August. In the news today, and we have obviously we had all that Champions League stuff to decide over the weekend, so nothing much there on the football side, I must admit. Rain is the winner on the day. We've got updates on the Farah Palmer Cup and a Minor Tenant Cup signing as well in the rugby. A couple of tight finishes in the NRL. An update on the Winter Games. We have the UFC 252 was fought over the weekend. Updates for you from how Lydia Ko was going in the Gulf. Lots of racing action motor racing action from the Spanish Grand Prix and the supercars. So you can all start the day the best way, up to speed with all the important sports news. And yes, kicking off with the football. There's just one game left in the A-League, and that is Western United versus Melbourne City, which will take place on Wednesday evening. Wellington Phoenix people will be fans keeping their eyes on that one, because if Western United win that one, then they'll climb up to third in the table ahead of the Phoenix. As we told you yesterday, the six teams in the finals will be Sydney FC, Melbourne City, Wellington Phoenix, Brisbane Roar, Western United and Perth Glory. It's just the order that needs to be decided. On the Champions League, and that's all now sorted, so look out, folks, on the 18th. Tomorrow night, so Tuesday night, or Wednesday morning, we'll have the first of the Champions League semi-finals, which will be between Leipzig and Paris Saint-Germain. We'll keep updates with that here on the morning sports briefing, as we come to you live at 7 a.m. every single morning. Let me hand you over to Ashwin now, who's going to take us through our cricket update.
Good morning, Paul, and good morning to all our viewers and listeners out on the interweb. And as Paul mentioned, the rain keeps tumbling down in Southampton. We've had less than 10 overs on the fourth day of the test between England and Pakistan. I didn't do the maths to tally up all the overs that they've actually bowled, but it's not a lot. But there was just enough time for England to wrap up the Pakistan innings, with Rizwan adding 11 runs to his overnight total, and he was caught out in the covers looking for some quick runs before they sent England back in. Well, basically England went back in. Pakistan had the ball singing from the start. They nearly had a wicket off the first ball of the innings, with Burns edging one just short of second slip. It didn't go long. Burns didn't go long. Burns lasted just another 3 balls. This time the edge carried to second slip and he was on his way. Now, I'm sure this is destined for a draw. I doubt that there will be 29 wickets on the last day to get us a result. Now, with the announcement that Mahendra Singh Dhoni of his retirement from international cricket over the weekend, accolades have been pouring in. The latest from Michael Hussey, who talked about his calm demeanour of MSD. Hussey played with MSD as the captain. Well, MSD was a captain in the IPL, and has talked about how he never got angry on or off the field and just kept that calm demeanour right through his play. And I think that sort of came through in his game as well, where when the run rate was ballooning, he always kept it under control. Hussey also alluded to that fact, is that when you were playing him in Australia, it always felt like he was one step ahead of where you were. And again, that would sort of it sort of goes to show that in those run chases, when the scores were ballooning out, the run rates going higher and higher, he knew he had a plan in his head of when to hit that accelerator and when to just hold those wickets. Moving along, and in some sad news, is a former Indian opener, Chetan Chauhan, has passed away on Sunday. Chauhan tested positive for COVID-19 in July, and his health worsened yesterday, and he was placed on a ventilator and passed away later that day. He played 40 tests for India, scoring 2,084 runs and an average of 31.58. After cricket, he became involved in politics. So that's some rather sad news to start the day on. And finally, Australia's tour of England has been given a green light. But yes, Australia has been given approval from their government to travel to the UK, which for a tour over there for T20s and ODIs. The tour will start on September the 4th with 3 T20 matches. They will be played between the 4th and 6th of September. They will be followed up by 3 one-day international matches, and they will be played from between the 11th and 16th of September. So hopefully the rain's all cleared up by the time Australia makes it over there, and they get to play those matches. But look forward to it, with England actually going quite well on their own home conditions. And that today is the cricket news. Paul.
Thank you very much, Ashwin, for being up to date with all of that cricket news, even if it was mainly just wet weather. And hopefully everyone, you have a good start to the week here in New Zealand, with much drier weather and sunny weather in our lockdown. And I'm going to hand you over now to Stephen Harris, who's going to take us through our birthdays.
Thank you, Paul, and good morning to everybody tuning into New Zealand at the Sport Radio. Start of a new week. In birthdays today, a cyclist with 30 national titles to his name, a New Zealand Kiwi Rugby League international who can play wing or fullback, and a one-test All Black who had more than his share of injuries, and that's where we start this morning. Charlie Ngatai, born this day, the 17th of August 1990, is a New Zealand-born professional rugby union footballer who plays as a midfield back. He can also cover a lot of positions in the back line, including fullback. Ngatai is currently playing for Lyon in France, having previously been the captain of the Chiefs, Taranaki Rugby Union, and of course the Māori All Blacks internationally. Ngatai is best known for being a former All Black, having made his debut in 2015. Ngatai only played one test for New Zealand due to the amount of injuries which impacted his career over the years. Staying with the oval ball game, Dallin Watene-Zelniak, born this day, the 17th of August 1995, is a New Zealand Rugby League international footballer who can also play wing or fullback. He currently plays for the Canterbury Bulldogs in the NRL. That might be a little bit old, though. He played for Penrith Panthers in the National Rugby League. I think he's playing for the Canberra Raiders these days. And finally, Jason Allen, born this day, the 17th of August 1981 in Christchurch, is a New Zealand cyclist with over 30 titles to his name. An Oceania title, he represented his country at the Commonwealth Games, and also has won 2 gold medals at the World Track Cycling Cup. He was Marlborough's Sportsman of the Year, and so he should be. He rode for Subway Avante team from 2009 to 2011. That's our birthdays today. I'll be back with all the league news very, very shortly.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for bringing us up to date with all those birthdays. I hope they have a fantastic day and some nice birthday cake as well. Moving on to the rugby news and the Farah Palmer Cup. The first 2 rounds of that will be postponed due to the coronavirus level 3 in Auckland. Obviously, with 3 of the Farah Palmer Cup sides, North Harbour, Auckland, and Counties Manukau, all within that zone. There is still the intent to play the entire season, and they are in discussions as to how the draw will be impacted by this. Obviously, starting a couple of weeks earlier than the Mice 10 Cup, there is time for them to get all of the games in. I would say, surprise signing, Terry Black has signed for Bay of Plenty in the Mice 10 Cup. Previously of Manawatu Turbos, Bay of Plenty already have Caleb Trask, the Chiefs' first 5, and also Dan Hollinshead on their squad. So you've got to say, adding a Terry Black is a luxury rather than a need for the Bay of Plenty, who have been promoted from the Championship to the Premiership this season. So good luck to how they go. They'll be one of the most 10 Cup sides that will be getting round and providing coverage from here on New Zealand Sports Radio. So good luck to Terry Black. Apparently, he's from Rotorua originally, so hence why he is moving back to, or why he's happy to move back to, or move to the Bay of Plenty. I'm going to hand you back now to Stephen, who's going to take us through our NRL update with the sport that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. And it was giving on the field yesterday, because we saw 2 very, very tight encounters play out, and they were only decided in the last few minutes of the game. That first game was between the Knights and the Seagulls, played at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle yesterday, which saw the Knights prevail by 26 points to 24 after leading by 16 points to 12 at half-time. Inari Tuala scored a double in scoring a try in each half, the 38th minute, and the try that really counted in the 72nd minute, which propelled the Knights into the lead. Once again, the Sea Eagles started well enough with the 12 points in the first half, but it was a whole lot of unanswered points. It was 12 unanswered points, or beg your pardon, 10 unanswered points in the second half that propelled the Knights to that particular victory. So that final score again, Newcastle Knights 26, the Manly Sea Eagles 24. And, excuse me, in our second game, well, it took a Luke Brooks drop goal for the West Tigers to unlock the door with 3 minutes to go. And he knocked it over to make it 29-28. West Tigers 29, Bulldogs 28, after the West Tigers led by 22 points to 16 at halftime, and what you can only describe as a topsy-turvy game. Both sides scoring 5 tries apiece, with Luke Garner for the West Tigers scoring a double within 8 minutes in the first half, scoring his first in the 20th minute and nailing it a second try again 8 minutes later. All the goal kicking was very good, and that was probably a little bit of a difference as well. All knocking over their conversions, well, 4 conversions each, but that drop goal being the difference at the end of the day. So that final score again, West Tigers 29, Bulldogs 28, and that resigns the Bulldogs to the bottom of the table. As we go to look at that NRL table, we've got the Panthers, Storm, Eels, Roosters, Raiders, Knights, Sharks, and Rabbitohs sitting in our top 8 at this time. As we look down to the Warriors sitting on 10 points, so they are actually 3 wins outside the top 8 with 5 rounds of the NRL to go. So plenty of work for the Warriors to do. I'd say anybody sitting on 10 points at the stage is very much in a precarious situation and will require some results to go their way. Just looking at the rest of the table, I'd say anybody sitting on 18 points is probably in a reasonably safe position at this stage. But I'll tell you what, the guys on Wednesday night, Sanjay and Brad, from the standoff, they call their show these days, they'll probably have more, so look out for that 8 p.m. on Wednesday. And we'll just check on the Betfred League, or Betfred Super League over in the UK. I'll just go back over one of the results from the weekend. Warrington beating Huddersfield 19-18, and overnight we saw St Helens in a very low scoring game take out Castleford by 10 points to 0, and in the game currently under the way at the minute, there's only probably 5 minutes or so to go. Wigan leading Leeds by 16 points to 10. Hopefully we'll update you that by the end of the program. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And yes, Huddersfield, which is clearly your best, your favourite team in the Super League, if just purely for the name pronunciation, if not for how they actually play.
Huddersfield.
Moving on then to the NBA and the finals series the finals matchups have all been decided. And Steve Adams' Oklahoma Thunder will be taking on the Houston Rockets. Both these sides finished with a record of 44 and 28. So it's going to be I expect a tight series between those two. It's a best of 7 series, and they are playing every other day. So so yes, do your quick maths. Yes, it's a 2-week series, and that starts. Well, I think the series do start today American time. So actually, sorry, today. Yes, today American time. So tomorrow morning, hopefully, we'll start having some of those results for you. That's you're going to say that in this one, most teams will be looking to try and close out their first round series as quickly as possible with so many games, with some games such a short amount of time, with the sort of semi-finals, finals, and the actual NBA finals still to come. So lots of games still to come in the NBA. Moving on then, into the winter sports, and yesterday it was the Shred the Mountain. Now 20% of the scores there are on are down to the video footage. Now we haven't got results yet for that in the winter games, and then today as part of the winter games it will be the Park Jam. So look out for that. For all the details, head over to Winter Games NZ on their Facebook page, and we'll bring you results tomorrow on that one. Over in the UFC, and it was UFC 252 last weekend, with the joint headline fights were, well, the first one was between Stripe Miocic and Daniel Cormier, who were fighting in the heavyweight division, with Miocic winning the third time that they have fought each other. So winning not only the fight, but also the triple fights between the two of them. That now means Daniel Cormier will be retiring after that one, and obviously not the best way for him to go. Over in the other event, and Ecuador's Marlon Vera handed Sean O'Malley his first defeat of his MMA career. Sean O'Malley is an up-and-coming fighter, but in this one he looks like he appeared to roll his ankle, which restricted his movement, and that meant that Vera could comfortably finish this one off in the first round with a technical knockout. Over, we've also had UFC 253 has been announced, and the main event for that one will be Israel Adesanya, who will be up against Brazil's Paulo Costa. They were due to face each other earlier, but Paulo Costa had to pull out due to injury. So yes, it's a much anticipated fight there, which will be Israel's middleweight title defense. That's going to be on September the 27th in New Zealand time. The location has yet to be announced, but is rumored to be in Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. But we did have a fighter from the same training venue as Israel say that it was going to be in New Zealand. So let's just wait and see on that one, although we've had no announcements at all in New Zealand. Let's about that possibility. Kiwi fighter Kai Kara France will also feature on the undercard against Brandon Royval in the flyweight division on that one. Moving on to the golf, and Lydia Ko had a disappointing fourth round where she was 3 over after having the best third round of the tournament over there in the Scottish Open. That saw her slip down to tied 12th overall in that tournament. Moving on then to the motor racing, and in the Spanish Grand Prix, Hamilton won his 88th victory of his career. He's now just 3 behind Michael Schumacher's all-time record of wins in Formula One. He in second place was Verstappen in the Red Bull, and Hamilton's teammate Bottas came in third there. Heading over to the supercars, and Jamie Whincup and Scott McLaughlin both got wins on Sunday over at the Hidden Valley Raceway near Darwin. McLaughlin keeps a healthy championship lead with a 101 point lead over. Yes, congratulations to McLaughlin as leading in that one. And boy, we have got some updates from that NRL game. I'm going to hand you back to Stephen in that for the not NRL, sorry, Super League game.
Yeah, from the Super League, it looked like it was just moseying along to a 16-10 victory was the last time we updated you, Paul. But we've since seen Wigan lay on 2 more tries in the final score, 28 points to 10. So they nailed about 2 tries in the last 6 minutes of the game. I'll have a quick look at the table at this point in time. Remembering most teams have all played about 7 or 8 games, but our top 4 in the Betfred Super League, St Helens, Catalans, Wigan and Warrington make up the top 4, but they are all sitting on 10 points. That's it for League today, Paul. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And yes, have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll be back at 8 p.m. this evening with the Driving More Show, where we'll be looking at our Super Rugby Aotearoa 15. So who do you think has been the best tight head prop, or which are the best 2 locks? Do dial in at 8 p.m. this evening for our views on that. Also, we will round up what club rugby action has been able to take place around the country. And so do join us. That obviously we'll be back with the morning sports briefing at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We come to you at 7 a.m. 7 days a week, so that you can start your day the best way, up to speed with all the important sports news.